Hello, welcome to a Dial Outdoor production. Today we're going to be tying up a variation of the Clouser Minnow. So this one here I tied up the other day, it's chartreuse and white. You can see here it's only connected in front of the bead eye. It's got a little body wrap. And it's made out of craft fur. I like to tie these up for salmon and trout and anything that eats a bait fish, which is about everything. So what you're going to need for today is you're going to need something to wrap the body with, either tinsel or flashabou. I don't like to use wire because it adds too much weight. You're going to need your favorite streamer hook. I don't like going 2x long or anything like that. I like going just standard. This is actually a 1/0 saltwater hook, not even a streamer hook. So it's even a little shorter. And your favorite weight of dumbbell eyes. Also going to need some crystal flash, any color that you like. Today we're going to be using pearl and crystal flash UV. And then 2 colors of craft fur, or you could just use 1 color. You could also use buck tail. There's a whole host of materials you could use. You could even get away with marabou and rabbit strip. Today we're going to be doing white and hot pink. So you're going to start by wrapping this with thread over the entire body. These don't have to be tight wraps. I like using a 6/0 for this type of pattern. I use 6/0 for about everything. You can use whatever size thread you like. Then we're going to come back up here. So if you split the hook shank up into thirds, somewhere into the front third is where you want your dumbbell eye. And on this pattern, I go even further. Even closer to the hook eye because I'm tying everything on in front. So I'll show you here. So building up a thread dam. So this is going to be where your dumbbell eye sits, right? Boom, something like that. Then you grab it. Start doing figure 8s. So 1. Figure 8s like that. I kind of like to hold it in place while I do it, or at least make sure that I'm staying up. And then to lock it down, I'll go just around the bottom of the dumbbell eyes like this. Right? And that's sucking all that thread into it. I'll go and wrap down and wrap in front. And now what you should have here is it's pretty well on there and can't really move. To further secure it, take your head cement, zap gap, whatever glue you like to use. Go on one side, touch up the thread there, go onto the back side and touch up the thread there. Next, we're going to need that tinsel, flashabou, whatever color you want to use, so we're going to clip off 1 strand. Boom. This is a completely unnecessary step. You could absolutely skip this step if you wanted to. I like to include it because I think it makes the fly look prettier and more realistic. And it covers up that hook shank so nothing's going to see it. So you're going to tie it in. I like to tie in a long section because there's way more than what you need here, and just keep it really secure. You could skip this if you wanted to and tie in less. Really will not make a difference. And then while I'm waiting on everything, I like to take my thread up over my eye and hold it like that. And then you're just going to work on wrapping this tight up the shank of the hook. I like to go just past it into the bend of the shank of the hook, or into the bend of the hook, to cover up even more of that. And because when it's dancing through the water, I feel like it gives it a better presentation. Entirely up to you. Again, this step is wildly optional. And you're just going to go and try and get tight wraps all the way across. Sometimes when you're using Flash-A-Boo, it doesn't want to lay perfectly neat. It gets hung up on something. And you get a little gap, or a little kink. Again, the fish is not going to care. Just keep wrapping. Don't even worry about it. Just try to get it nice and tight and neat. And it'll look great. Almost there. A little bit more. Oh yeah, we're there. So I just like to do a few more right up in here than what's completely needed. And now we're going to tie it in. Just going to do 1, 2, 3. And then I like to take the Mylar, instead of cutting it back here and folding it over my thread here on the back of the dumbbell eye, because I think it's pretty. Do a few more here to secure it. And then when you want to suck it tight, remember that trick around the dumbbell eyes? We're going to do it again. And that's going to pull it tight to the dumbbell eye. And then wrap and snip the excess free. Now flip the fly over. And you're going to start working on your craft fur sections. So I work with about a 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter section of craft fur. So what I like to do with the material is I'll tease it out. And I like to start on an end or somewhere along the back straight section. Here we go. This looks pretty good. And tease out a little 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter square. Something like that. And then take your sharp scissors somewhere close to the leather and snip it off. Now what you'll notice is it's full of a whole bunch of really short sections. So I like to come about halfway up, pinch it with my left hand, take my right, and pull off all of that clump. This is pretty much what you would do to remove guard hairs on bucktail. It is the same step. This is not very different. Except you don't stack this material, but I digress. So, boom. Okay, get rid of all the short stuff. Now I like to go up to where it mostly ends, pinch it here, and try and measure off 2 lengths the shank of the hook. So 1, 2, then I'm going to tie it in. So I start out with a fairly loose wrap on the first one, and then increase the tightness of my wraps from there. Snip the excess. Don't worry if you tied this in too long, we'll come back and fix it later. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just come through and I'll clean up any of the little fibers that I missed. Again, we'll clean that up later. Now it's time for your flash. I like to use 3 pieces of each. You can use however much or however little of flash you like. The fish up here like it flashy. So I'm going to take 3, hold it in my teeth here. And then I'm going to take 3 strands here. And pull. I'm going to try and line these up even. And then roll them, so I'm mixing the flash together. Take it down the middle, like that. Put it somewhere near the end of your fly. And try and hold it into the middle so it's lined up nicely with everything else. And then you're just going to take some wraps and wrap it in. And boom. And you can trim the excess free. We're going to do a final trim at the end of this. Because I find craft fur unruly. Sometimes your fibers are super long. So if you're going to do an initial trim, cut it way longer than you think you need it. Now it's time for the pink. We're going to do the same thing with the pink that we did with the white. So pull fibers back, brush all the fibers forward, find a nice little section, right? About 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter cube. And down by the base here, snip. If you have a little too much material, that's okay. You can pinch some out of your hand and put it back. Again, remove all the short little fibers. It's going to be a lot. And boom. Again, try and measure, come up here where it mostly ends, and go, that is 1. And that is 2 length the shank of the hook. At this point, you can also line it up fairly even with your white. Alright, now it's time to clean up all this extra fiber. And we are almost done with this fly. So now we're just going to clean up the head with some thread wraps and lock everything in place. And if you still have too many fibers, just go around and snip them off. Craft fur can be kind of a pain to work with. That should be good enough. Now once you get it locked in there and you're happy with it, take your thread and knot it off. Take your head smut and finish the fly. What you got is a variation of the Clouser Minnow. It's easy to tie with a little bit of a thinner profile and a bit more action. Now if you think this is a little too long for the fish that you're fishing for, what you can do is come back here, and I'll do this on most of these that I tie. I'm going to try and get it to where, again, a lot of that material ends. Some of those fibers still exist. Then I'm going to take my scissors, come in at an angle, and then come out at an angle, and give it just a little trim. Again, this is almost like a Wacky Charlie, or a Crazy Charlie. This is a Clouser Minnow variation with craft fur. You get a little bit more motion, a little bit of a thinner profile. And it works about the same. It's a highly effective pattern. If you like this video and want to see more, like and subscribe. If you want to come fishing with me, come visit my website at www.dialed-outdoor.com. Thank you and have a great day.